Hi, everyone. We're just going to wait a few minutes and get more people to join on with us, and then we'll go ahead and get started. So, hi, everyone. Again, I'm Tori Martell. I'm the social media community manager here at the Allergy and Asthma Network, and I'm so excited to welcome everyone to our second Living Well with Asthma live virtual event. We're just going to give it another minute or two and make sure everyone who wants to join can get on, and then we'll definitely get started. But I just want to thank everyone for being here tonight. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Once again, for everyone who just joined us, I'm Tori Martell. I'm the social media community manager here at the Allergy and Asthma Network, and I'm so excited to welcome everyone to our second Living Well with Asthma live virtual event. We started the Living Well with Asthma campaign to raise awareness that small changes in our daily lives can improve lung health. We address a different topic in each of our live virtual events, so today we are focusing on stress relief and meditation for better breathing. We'll put a link in the Zoom chat and on Facebook so you can visit us at our website to learn more. We also want to take a minute to thank GSK for sponsoring this event and our Healthy Lifestyles campaign. Before we get started, I want to remind everyone that we'll once again hold a drawing for a new Fitbit Lux Smart Tracker. If you are joining us through Zoom, you have already been included in the drawing. And if you are joining us through Facebook, please take a moment and would like to be included in the drawing, please take a moment to click on the link on our Facebook post and click to register for this event, and that will include you in the drawing. We'll announce the winner at the end of today's event and contact the winner by email. You must be here at the end to be eligible. So let's go ahead and get started. We are pleased to once again be joined by our two wonderful guest hosts, Dr. Payal Gupta and Courtney Kwong Hing. You are welcome to join in on the conversation and ask questions using the chat function in Zoom or by posting a comment on our Facebook post. Dr. Gupta is a board-certified adult and pediatric allergist and immunologist in New York and chair of the Integrated Medicine Committee for the American College of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology. Courtney joins us from Berlin, Germany, where she lives with asthma, multiple food allergies, and eczema. Dr. Gupta and Courtney are also co-hosts of their own podcast, which is called the Itch Podcast. We'll drop a link to the podcast in the chat so you can learn more about how to subscribe to it. We will also be joined by certified personal trainer Shannon Simpson, who will demonstrate exercises to reduce stress, including meditation. Before I turn it over to Courtney and Dr. Gupta, let's find out who's here with us today. So we'll start off with our first poll question of the night. Which will pop up in 1 second. Here it is. Okay, so poll number 1. Who's joining us this evening? I am a person living with asthma. I'm a parent caregiver for someone with asthma. I'm a health professional. I am someone with another lung condition. I am someone interested in meditation and stress relief, or other. We'll take a minute here to answer the poll, and then we'll continue. Okay, so here are the results from poll number 1. So it looks about 33% of you are living with asthma, 7% are a parent or a caregiver for someone with asthma, 56% of you are health professionals, and 4% are just interested in meditation and stress relief. So I'm happy to welcome everybody here. And we can move on to a second poll question.
Yeah, Fran passed away last. Well, she passed away last.
So the second poll question here is, do you have asthma or other lung condition? So the choices are, I have asthma, I have allergies, I have COPD, I have other lung disease, or I do not have any lung disease. So once again, we'll take a minute to answer the poll and then we'll move on. And the results are in. So 44% of you have asthma, 21% have allergies, 3% have COPD, and 32% of you do not have any lung disease. So once again, welcome everybody to our live event. We are all so excited to have you here. So now let's turn it over to Courtney and Dr. Gupta.
Hi, everyone. So we're very excited to be back again with the Asthma and Allergy Network and talking about another important topic, as Tori mentioned, which is stress relief and the use of meditation for better breathing. So these topics are really big, and we can talk about them, to be honest, for hours. But tonight, we're hoping to hit some of the most important concepts to know. So let's get started.
Hi, everyone. I don't think that this could come at a better time since the holiday seasons are here, and that just comes with a little bit more stress than normal. I do feel like stress has also been popping up a lot lately about how its impact on our overall health is actually quite large, and how much we're learning about the impact of stress on overall health. So I'm very excited to dive into that just a little bit. Before we get started, though, Dr. G, can you define what stress is so that we're all on the same page?
Yes, of course. So stress is a feeling of emotional or physical tension. So it can come from any event or thought that makes you feel frustrated, angry, or nervous. And stress is your body's reaction to a challenge or a demand. So in short bursts, stress can be called the flight or fight response. And in short bursts, it's actually great. It can be positive because it can help you avoid danger, or in our current setting, it can help you meet deadlines. However, when you have chronic stress or long-term kind of daily, on a daily basis, you're feeling stressed, that is dangerous for our body, for our health, for our well-being. And we see more and more data and evidence of that every single day. And so that's why it's so important that we're talking about this today.
Yeah, I think you do hear about stress as this response to fight or flight. And nowadays, I feel like we're constantly being overstimulated. We're being bombarded by deadlines, social media, family, fast-paced lifestyles, pandemics. So there isn't much time to find kind of peace and just a calm 5 minutes in our day. Sometimes that feels like something impossible. So I would love to know a little bit more about the impacts of chronic stress on our health.
Yeah, so stress affects literally all of our body, all of the systems in our body. For example, for the musculoskeletal system, which means our muscles and our bones and everything, it can give us back pain. It can give you chronic pain when you're under high levels of stress. In the respiratory realm, which we're going to dig into a little bit deeper, it can mimic stress. It can cause asthma to get worse. Cardiovascular, we've all heard of people having heart attacks secondary to a stressful event or a stressful just way of living. You can get acid reflux from stress. So really, the nervous system, the reproductive system, and of course, our mental health is very much affected by chronic stress. So, and then for all of you that are interested in, lung conditions, asthma, family or friends with lung conditions, or I see a lot of you are healthcare providers. While stress does not cause asthma, it can make it more difficult to control, actually. So severe stress symptoms can sometimes mimic asthma symptoms, as I mentioned. So stress you can get shortness of breath, chest pain, chest tightness, and it's confusing for patients with asthma to know, is that my stress or is that my asthma? And so the management and the way that we manage asthma can also get confusing. It can worsen asthma in that it can actually cause an asthma exacerbation. So during a stressful situations, actually our body releases certain chemicals that can cause the muscles around the airways to tighten, causing difficulty breathing. And stress can also weaken the immune system, which means that we're more susceptible to common cold, to the flu, and those two things are big, reasons for people to have exacerbations of their asthma. So really, it affects every single component of our health and well-being.
Thank you for that. I think for me, as someone with asthma, it's really interesting to hear how there is a crossover between asthma and stress, and how stress and asthma can kind of look like each other at times. So knowing when it's stress and knowing when it's asthma is a good thing to have, so that you feel like you have better control of your asthma and of your stress. So that being said, we want to know a little bit about you guys. So we're going to introduce another poll question, and we're going to ask you how stress impacts your life. There we go. So we have a lot of different selections. We have, it affects your physical health, it affects your breathing, your relationships, your mental health and well-being, or your work, school performance, or other. So we'll give you a few seconds to answer that.
Sorry, we're just waiting for the results to pop up. I don't see them yet. There they are. So it looks like 53% of you, stress affects my physical health. So half of you, more than half of you. Stress affects my breathing for 29%. Stress affects my relationships for 41%. Mental health and well-being, half of you, over half of you. Stress impacts my work or school performance, 35% of you, and then other, 6%. So as you can see, many of us have are dealing with stress in our lives that are a part of this panel and a part of this, part of our discussion tonight. And that's really what we see nationwide. So according to the American Institute of Stress, 33% of people report feeling extreme levels of stress. 77% of people experience stress that affects their physical health. 73% of people have stress that impacts their mental health, and 48% of people have trouble sleeping because of stress. And sleep is another topic that's super important that we could talk about for hours, but anything that affects our sleep is also going to affect our overall well-being. So as you can see, so many people are affected by stress in so many different ways, and that is why it's such an important topic and we're having this conversation.
So since we have so many stressed out people, how can we deal with stress? That's the big question, Dr. G.
Yeah, so, there are so many reasons that someone might be stressed, and we kind of talked about those a little bit. And really, I think that's the first thing that we should do. It's really important to figure out what is it that might be causing stress and tension in your life? And then once you're able to sit down, make that list, figure out what those stressors are, then you can slowly find interventions to help reduce those stressors. The second thing is talking about feeling stressed with your family and friends is also a really important component to dealing with stress in your life, because your friends and family are there to support you. And so they need to know that that you're having more stress in your life. And then there are lots of techniques to help you manage stress, like yoga, for example, which is a form of exercise. And we actually discussed this last month in this series with the Asthma and Allergy Network. And you can watch that session through the Asthma and Allergy Network website or on their YouTube channel if you missed it. But, we reviewed a lot of important concepts about how to start yoga, why it's important. And Shannon, who will be guiding us today, also led a really nice practice that you could start if you're interested. And then other things that can be helpful in kind of starting to manage stress are, just what Courtney mentioned in the beginning. We don't often take time out for ourselves, and that's actually very important. It's very hard to do, but even those 5 to 10 minutes, and that's kind of what meditation is. It's a time out for yourself. And then taking a media break. And what I mean by that is social media, definitely social media breaks for people that are on it constantly, because it's, sometimes it can cause negative feelings. And we know that from the data that we have. And then also news break. Sometimes the news, and oftentimes actually the news can be a stressor for people and they don't even realize it. So taking a news and media break in general, and then going on walks, being out in nature is a very important thing that we can do to help relieve stress. And then today, what we're going to be talking about is meditation as a way to manage stress. So before we get started, we would like to know how familiar you are with meditation. So we're going to ask another poll question. So how familiar are you with meditation? First choice is, I know how to meditate and practice it regularly. I'm somewhat familiar with meditation and meditate occasionally, or I have never tried meditation. Okay.
Great. So we have the results. It looks like 12% of you guys meditate and practice it regularly. 47% meditate occasionally and are somewhat familiar. That's excellent numbers. That's really, really good. So we're like off to a head start already. And 41% has never tried meditation. Don't worry, you're gonna try it at the end of the session, I promise you, because Shannon's gonna take you through a mini meditation. So everyone is going to be familiar with meditation at the end of this. Before we get to that meditation, it would be really interesting to know a little bit more about why we want to meditate, what is meditation. So first off, Dr. G, do you actually recommend meditation to your patients?
Yes, I actually do. And that's because the research on meditation is clear. We know that there is a benefit for those who have a regular practice of meditation. And honestly, that can be as little as 5 to 10 minutes a day. There's data to show that we can see that it lowers stress levels. And it actually helps the way that people manage their stress. So if someone, and managing and coping stress. So it's like you're creating a tool to not only reduce your stress levels, but then also for future management of stressful situations. And so we know that there's benefits, again, to both our mental and physical health when we meditate. And recently, the advances in research with meditation show that it can be used as an instrument of self-regulation. And what we mean by that is it can help you control our breath and where our mind is going. And that is so important with all the stressors encountered on a daily basis. If you can control your breath, and kind of calm yourself down, and then also control where your mind goes. And so it's, not getting into those rabbit holes, not kind of taking yourself down into that space, which causes stress. So, whether it's stress from a news story or from a personal, bad news or just a bad day, learning how to control our breath and mind is an important tool to help reduce the amount of stress that we feel from all of these moments that keep occurring.
Yeah, I want to reiterate that stress and meditation, they're really great partners to be together, because what happens is that when you meditate, you do gain more awareness of your body and how you react to certain situations. So in the end, what happens is that having this awareness and having this kind of focus helps you catch little triggers that might make you stressed, so that in the end, you're not getting to that point of stress. You're catching it before it happens, and you're able to go back and, move forward without any of that extra stress in your life. Just so we can talk a little bit about meditation, there are a lot of types of meditation out there. Like, it can feel very overwhelming if you haven't really started meditating, which we saw 41% of you guys are still fresh in the meditation world. So you might hear things like body scan or noting or loving kindness, which is also known as a metta meditation. There's mantra meditation, and the list goes on and on and on. As you can tell, it can get overwhelming. So what I suggest is really find a few, try a bunch out, see which one really resonates with you, and then stick with it. Meditation can be really hard at the beginning. Trust me, it's challenging to sit still for 5 minutes. It's challenging to sit still for 1 minute for a lot of people. So you have to get used to that, and you also have to get used to all of the thoughts in your mind. So stick with it, because you will start feeling the benefits, I promise you. And, we'll get a little test today with Shannon. The other part that we wanted to quickly talk about is how breath work is also related to meditation, because sometimes breath and meditation go hand in hand. So there are a lot of breath techniques. I'm not an expert in breath work. I have done some in yoga, and you might have heard it if you have a yoga practice, and you might have heard the word pranayama thrown around a bunch. That's just another term for like breath techniques, breath work. Some examples you might have heard of are breath of fire or alternate nostril breathing. A few other ones, or one that might be very common, is called box breathing. So each technique really has its own benefit, but essentially what you're doing is you're connecting the body and the breath. And as a result, this helps you become more present and more grounded. And eventually you'll be able to figure out what those little triggers are, and you won't be as stressed.
Thank you, Courtney. That was such helpful information. And we actually reviewed the benefits of understanding your breath, and for somebody with a lung condition like asthma, at the last panel, again, that we hosted with AAN, which is on their YouTube channel. So, but as a recap for those who missed it, is that, for people with asthma and other breathing disorders, understanding your normal breath can be very helpful, because again, for those instances where stress might kind of alter our breathing and make us feel short of breath, or make us feel like we're getting tight in our chest, knowing that you can kind of relax and calm your breathing down to see if that in itself helps before reaching for your inhaler is very important. And so that's how these breathing techniques can really help people with lung conditions understand their body better, which is kind of the key for just better health in general, is understanding your body, understanding when you're not feeling well, and ways that you can help yourself feel better.
Thank you. That's really important to know, is the differences, of how in tune are you with your body. The more in tune you are with your body, I think the better management you have of your asthma. So let's say I've tried all these techniques. I've tried yoga, I've tried meditation, I've tried all the sorts of breathing that's possible, but I'm still stressed. Or actually, now I'm even more stressed because I just can't deal with this meditation. Like, I don't get it. What is an indicator that I should go and seek professional help?
Yeah, so I mean, really, any time that you're not feeling well, you should always talk to your healthcare provider. And the earlier you seek help, the better. So having a conversation with your healthcare provider does not mean that you're going to get put on more medications or more interventions. It really just means that everyone is on the same page. It means that your healthcare provider can help you figure out what help you might need, can give you options, and that you can do it together so that you have somebody that's on your side as opposed to feeling alone trying to figure out how to manage the feelings that you're having. And so I think it's very important to reach out for help as soon as you feel like that you need it. So at any time that you're not feeling in control of your body, I think it's very important to talk to someone. And also, remember that, these stress management strategies that we're talking about, like meditation, breathing, exercises, yoga, they're not meant to replace the medications that your healthcare provider puts you on. So skipping your medications because you're doing these practices and feel like you're already doing something to help yourself can actually cause even more problems with your asthma control. And so we just want to make sure that you know that this is a tool. This is another way to help strengthen your body, but it doesn't always replace the other things that we use in medical therapy, like medications. And so they're, again, they're just tools, and we need to make sure that we're staying on the treatment protocols that our doctor recommends.
Thank you, Dr. G. Yeah, it's just important to remember that there are lots of things that can help you holistically, but your medications are really important. So don't let those drop, because then you'll blame yoga, you'll blame meditation for it. So enough from us, let's get moving and meditating. We are going to hear now from certified personal trainer Shannon Simpson. She's going to demonstrate some exercises, some breathing exercises, and do a meditation with us. So get ready to move a little bit.
Hi again, everyone. This is Shannon Simpson, certified personal trainer and also bar and Zumba instructor here. Today we are going to go through meditation and breathing for stress and anxiety, especially throughout the holidays. There's always so much to do, there's so much going on, and a lot of times we are thinking so much about others, whether it's giving to others, posting for others, or just spending time with others, that we forget to take the time to really relax and recharge with ourselves. And it's really important for our body, our soul, and our mind to be in the present moment, especially when we do have the opportunity to give to others and to spend time with our loved ones. So today, I'm going to first be showing you through a couple of stretches that you can do every single morning when you wake up, to really open up your chest, really open up your breathing, and just set your intentions for the day. From there, I will go through a couple of evening time stretches that you can do at the end of the day, once you've had your busy day and you're all completed with all of your tasks, and you can take some time to just relieve some stress that way before going to sleep, to kind of get your mind relaxed for the evening. And then I will go through a little bit of a meditation here. We will go through a little bit of breathing exercise and a couple of techniques that you can use if you end up in a stressful situation or need a minute of alone time. So let's get started. So when you wake up in the morning, you really want to open up your chest, begin your deep breathing, and kick off your digestive system. So get a glass of water, drink about 8 to 10 ounces of cold water to really get everything moving, and then go into a couple of these stretches. So we're just going to start by taking a nice deep breath in. As you inhale, really lift your arms all the way up overhead. So inhale all the way up, reaching. And as you exhale, forward fold. Now, since you've just woken up, let your head and neck relax toward the floor. And you can have a slight bend in the knees here. Just trying to hug behind the knees, really stretching out the spine and relaxing the head and neck. And inhale all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. And one more right here, all the way up. And all the way over. Go ahead and roll up nice and slow. From here, we're going to stretch out the sides of the body. So you're going to take one hand all the way up, grab the other wrist with your opposite hand. Nice deep breath in. As you exhale, pull that hand all the way up and over for a stretch. And release, switching sides, up and over. Good. It's good to take about 3. Hi again, everyone. This is position, but it's good to practice to increase the lung capacity here. So take a couple of nice deep breaths in that position. Beautiful work. From here, we want to bring some energy into the joints. So especially if you're busy and you're running around all day, you want to really make sure that your joints are prepared for the day. So we're going to start by taking a slight bend in your knees, hands on top of your thighs, and then just finding a circular motion with the knees here. This brings synovial fluid into the knee joints. It really is helpful if you have knee pain. And you can go ahead and reverse other side. So this is a really good exercise to do every single morning. Even if you may not have any knee pain, it can prevent any knee pain from occurring as well. And a couple forward and back. Beautiful. From here, you are welcome to continue on to do any other stretches that you'd like, but that just gets your entire torso warmed up, gives you those nice deep breaths, allows you to relax your head and neck down toward the floor, and opens up the upper body to promote better breathing. So after you've completed your long, busy day, I want to give you a couple of stretches that you can do right before bed to really focus on your breathing and to also just relax your mind. So in our yoga video, if you watched it, we did a couple of stretches and exercises to really promote better breathing. But here we really want to focus not only on flexibility, which is a bonus when you're stretching your body, but also really just releasing tension in the muscles, in the joints, and in the mind, okay? So your first exercise will be a butterfly stretch. So just bringing the soles of your feet together, you can grab onto your ankles here and use your elbows to push onto your knees. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, round out your spine, relaxing your head, neck, and shoulders at the bottom. So just go to your furthest point, whatever is comfortable for you. Taking 3 nice deep breaths. And go ahead and roll back up. So you can do that exercise 2 to 3 times, whatever feels comfortable for you. As you repeat this movement, try to allow yourself to relax and sink a little bit further each time. From here, you can go ahead and send one leg out to the side, tuck the opposite foot all the way in, and then send your forearm down to the floor, bringing your opposite arm all the way up and over to side bend, reaching toward your toe. So you really want to open up your chest here, trying to look toward the ceiling so you feel a nice stretch all the way up to the tip of the fingers down to the hip. And release. Go ahead, switching sides. So this promotes flexibility in not only the sides of the waist, the abdominals, but also the back side of the leg and into the hip flexors as well. And release. Go ahead and send your feet out in front of you. Flex your feet all the way up so you can feel a tightness in the back of the leg. Try to lock out the knees here. Arms come all the way up, then reach forward towards your toes, your ankles, or your shins, whatever is most comfortable for you, and relax all the way at the bottom. For a lot of people, this position may be a little bit more uncomfortable or less attainable than the other positions. So just really focus on your breathing and relaxing down into the floor as if you had a weight on top of your back that was pushing you down. And when you're ready, go ahead and roll up nice and slow. From here, you have the option of doing some of the yoga poses, like the supine twist or savasana, the lying down pose. That is a very good pose for right before you are about to head to bed. But those stretches are really good to just really focus on your breathing and relax the mind as well. So as I mentioned earlier, the holidays can be pretty stressful, and I want to give you a couple of techniques that you can use to reduce stress when you're in a situation where you may not have a lot of time or a lot of space to stretch your body out and really lie down and relax. So I want to give you a 1-minute meditation here. You're just going to breathe all the way in for 3 seconds, hold for 3 seconds, and then release for 6 seconds, okay? We're gonna go through that about 5 times or so, okay? So let's all do it together. Inhale, hold it, and exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, hold it. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 more just like that. Inhale. 2, 3. Hold it. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 more. Inhale. Hold it. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Last one. Inhale. 2, 3. Hold it. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nicely done. So that only takes about 1 minute to do 5 of those nice deep breaths. Not only does that breathing technique help you to increase your lung capacity over time by holding your breath and taking longer to exhale, but it also just naturally slows the heart rate and it slows the circulation of the blood so that you can reduce stress. Another technique that you can use is to really cross your hands over your chest right here and just take nice deep breaths. So crossing your hands over your chest, this kind of signifies almost a hug motion to really calm your energies down. So nice deep breath in and exhale. Beautiful. So that's a really good way to kind of focus yourself in. A lot of this is the mind working. So you're really having to focus in on what am I doing right here? I'm focusing on my breathing. I'm focusing on reducing my stress. There are a lot of other techniques that you can use too. There are a lot of YouTube videos that have short meditation clips with certain designs to really let you guide your inhales and your exhales. Also, some fitness trackers also provide it too. So if you have an Apple Watch or a Fitbit or something similar, you may find a mindfulness or a breathing setting on there that you can remind yourself to to take nice deep breaths throughout the day, which can be very helpful as well. There are meditation apps if you are feeling like you need a little bit more of a guided meditation. But using those breathing techniques, stretching at the beginning and the end of every day, and really just taking time to focus on yourself, to do things that make you happy and that you enjoy, while also providing for others, will allow you to have a much less stressful and anxiety-driven holiday. I hope that everybody has a wonderful next few weeks. I appreciate all of you, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that video from Shannon. She does such a great job. So we're going to go ahead and start with some questions that we received. We received some great questions, so thank you for submitting those, and we'll try to answer as many as we can. So let's get started. Our first question is there anything that you suggest for those who might not be able to get on the floor?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I think actually Courtney might even be better to answer this, but as a yoga instructor, but in general, there's a lot of things that you can do in a seated chair position. All of those breathing exercises that she talked about at the end are things that you can do just, seated with your back straight in a chair that's comfortable for you, with your feet flat on the ground. Ideally, having your feet flat on the ground and then your body straight. That's a nice way to do things. And you can actually even do stretching in a chair. And there's also chair yoga that is great. That is a great form of stretching exercise that you can look into too. So chair yoga, and then obviously all of these breathing techniques that Shannon reviewed with us are great to be done in a chair.
You can also start doing like body scan meditation. So if you lie on the floor, that's also a good way to do some meditations. You might fall asleep, but maybe that's kind of what you need. So you can also lie on the floor, and then you can always use props to put something under your knees if you need to, if you have back pain. And if you can kind of get on the ground, but you don't think you can sit there for very long, you can always prop something under your bum so that you elevate your hips above your knees, and that will just take all of any pressure that you might feel on your back. So always just kind of like use props, use pillows, use books, if you want to try and get down to the ground eventually.
Thank you, Dr. Gupta and Courtney, for your answer and your input. Our next question is if you know of any specific items for asthma, such as, I might be pronouncing this wrong, but pranayama, breathing exercises.
Yes, I mean the exercises that Shannon just reviewed with us are technically pranayama, which, as like Courtney had mentioned, are just breathing exercises or breathing practice. And so those are all great for any patient with asthma or other lung conditions. And I just want to mention that if anything doesn't feel good, or it doesn't feel like it's making you, it's actually aggravating your breath, then you want to stop that. So, and then also knowing, like, taking deep inhalations through your nose and then exhalations through your mouth is a nice way to do these breathing exercises too. So I just wanted to mention that also.
Yeah, I think that if you want, there's a lot of meditation apps that have different techniques that you can try out and see which ones work for you. So just experiment with them. And like Dr. G said, some of them make you hold your breath. And if that's something you're very uncomfortable with doing, especially if they make you hold after an exhale, that can be very challenging. Don't push yourself. You don't want to cause more stress on your body than you might be experiencing already. So be gentle with yourself in these, because sometimes they're also a little confusing when you first start, but give them all a go. You don't know which one's going to resonate with you.
Thank you, Dr. Gupta and Courtney. Our next question from the audience is from someone who has had scary middle of the night asthma incidents within their life, and focusing on breathing can sometimes be a trigger of anxiety for them. So they were wondering if there were any tips on how to deal with this problem when they meditate.
So it sounds like that focus on the breathing is actually making them feel anxious about their asthma or about their breath. And so, like Courtney had mentioned, there's a lot of different meditative practices that don't involve breathing techniques. And so you can also look into some of those, like the body scanning, like Courtney was talking about, where you just lay on the ground and you kind of check in with each part of your body. And then Courtney, you can mention some of the other techniques that you had already kind of reviewed, but there's a lot of techniques that don't involve the breath actually, and that are meditation, but not breath meditation.
Yeah, so if you wanted a quick review, there's something like a mantra meditation where you repeat something. So you might inhale, let, and exhale, go. And that's not totally focused on the breath because you're thinking about the words, but it kind of goes hand in hand with the breath. There's meditations of love and kindness where you're focusing on, sending love to someone, something. There's also, if you are really disconnected from your breath, and if your breath is creating anxiety, it might be a good idea to also physically feel your breathing. I know that sometimes we ground ourselves and we can feel what we can't see. So I know that a lot of times it just might be easy, like Shannon said, you just put your hands on your breath, your chest and your belly, and then you can do your mantra like inhale, let, exhale, go, and that might just help you center yourself back in.
Thank you again. Thanks to everyone who submitted your questions, and special thank you to Dr. Gupta and Courtney for taking the time to answer those. Before we wrap up, is there any final thoughts you'd like to share, Dr. Gupta or Courtney?
I think my last final thought is just, start slow with anything, with building kind of a habit, building a practice of anything requires patience. And you're not overnight going to be able to sit and meditate for 20 minutes or 30 minutes or even a minute. Sometimes even a minute feels like a long time. So, it's just about setting small goals and doing what feels good to you. And again, it could just start easy as far as stress reduction by just taking 5 minutes for yourself, and really taking those 5 minutes for yourself and doing something that doesn't involve your phone, that doesn't involve the TV, that doesn't involve anything really. It just involves you being hopefully either in nature or on your bed or somewhere that's peaceful to you. And so that's just the last thing I want to leave with is just, this is not, you don't have to do all of these things together. You don't have to start big, start small, and then maybe even find a partner in crime. So if there's someone in your family or a friend that has been talking about this, or that is also experiencing stress in their life, maybe if you have somebody alongside of you that is also trying to build, a new habit, a new practice, sharing that habit with somebody else can really be beneficial and can help you meet those goals. So those are just some last final thoughts that I wanted to share. And again, if something doesn't feel right, don't do it, and always reach out for help whenever you don't feel like you have control of the situation.
Yeah, I would parrot everything Dr. G said. I think those were really, really good tips. What I like to tell anyone who's interested in meditating is stick with it. It's really hard. I mean, it's really hard if you've never sat with your thoughts to sit with your thoughts. And it can feel very stressful at the beginning, but know that long term, the benefits are there. So just stick with it and don't feel like you need to reach the top of the mountain, right? Like if you need to do 1 minute, that's perfect. If you like it's cheating to do guided meditations, That's not true at all. Guided meditations are great. They're there for a reason. They will help you understand and learn meditation because sitting down on the floor is very challenging, but having someone guide you can make it feel much easier and can make it into a habit, especially if you find someone who you like and whose meditations resonate with you. So try out a bunch of apps. I think that's the best way to do it. I think I tried like 3 or 4 and found one that I loved.
So thank you once again, Dr. Gupta and Courtney, and we hope everyone who joined us tonight really learned something new about breathing exercises and adding meditation to your asthma management plan. And now it's time to announce the winner of the Fitbit Lux Fitness Tracker. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, but the winner is Mariho Hain. Congratulations. We will be in touch with you via email to make arrangements on how to get that Fitbit Lux to you. So feel free to leave a comment in the Zoom chat or the Facebook post and give us some feedback. Once again, we welcome you to click on the link in the Zoom chat or the Facebook post to learn more about lifestyle changes to manage asthma. We will also post some links to resources that can help you manage stress and asthma. As always, you can visit our website at allergyasthmanetwork.org for some tips. There's also a link in the Zoom chat and Facebook post to Dr. Gupta's and Courtney's podcast, The Itch Podcast. Next month, our Living Well with Asthma campaign will continue with a look at how nutrition and healthy eating can help keep your asthma in check. Look for more information and registration on allergyasthmanetwork.org in the upcoming weeks. Follow us on social media as well if you'd like to keep track on that. Once again, we thank GSK for sponsoring our Living Well with Asthma campaign, and we thank you all for joining us tonight. We'll see you next time on Living Well with Asthma.